All right, guys, y'all ready to connect some dots? All right, pay attention to what I'm looking at right here. This is me just scrolling on my phone, okay? These are real world assets being tokenized on the XRP ledger, guys. As you just seen, we have what was distributed on those companies prior. Then we have represented. Then we got all of them put together, okay? Take notice of the value also on the right side, okay? So look at all this distributed. Those are the companies where it's distributed. These are the platforms, right? They're all platforms, but those are the platforms where it's distributed. Those are the platforms that are representing in tokens on the XRP ledger, real world assets, right? Now, take a look at this one, guys. Just look at it by pi. Look at the percentage is what I'm trying to show you. Look at distributed, right? All those different companies that we love and we pay attention to. Then look at represented, Mercado, Bitcoin, and Vert Capital. Then look at all of them together and look at the share of the pie, okay? Z Economy, Ondo, Vert Capital, Archex. I go through it again, guys, just to show you all what I'm about to, the dots we about to connect. But once again, you got distributed, you got So my thesis is, or what I've concluded is that majority of our debt, guys, will likely be tokenized on the XRP ledger. And I say that because of the clarity that it has. And I say that because of the security that it holds, right? And I say that because of literally the standards that it will be held to now being under the wing pretty much of the OCC, right? And the CFTC and having all of this clarity now, guys, okay? Where will majority of this debt be tokenized on a blockchain? If so, okay? And more than likely the most efficient and the most trusted chain. That's why we're talking about the XRP ledger right now, okay? But here we go. What is Vert Capital? That's what I was asking myself. So what in the world is Vert Capital? Because that was a large portion of that pie, guys, that we just seen, okay? So Vert Capital is a Brazilian financial firm tokenizing real-world assets like private credit and agribusiness receivables on the XRP ledger and this EVM sidechain, bringing regulated traditional finance onto the blockchain for faster, transparent, and compliant transactions, right? With major projects including BRL 700M, 130 million in agribusiness certificates and pension-backed funds, showcasing Brazil's move from blockchain experimentation to institutional adoption with Ripple's support. Okay, but check out the bottom here. This is what we're talking about debt, guys. I'm talking because we're in a lot of debt, okay? And they're not necessarily trying to wipe this thing out, okay? If anything, they're more interested in making more money off of the debt that's already accumulated, right? So what does that mean? Tokenizing it and reselling it on what will be probably a legendary market right now, which is cryptocurrency, but in a new market, in a new asset class, right? In a new space, where new consumers and there's new ways to package debt up now, okay? Like bonds and treasuries and things of that sort. So who is Vert Capital? A Brazilian securitization and fund manager focused on bridging traditional finance with blockchain technology, serving fintechs, agricultural, and real estate companies. They specialize in structuring what? Debt and enabling embedded or adding or various companies. So Mercado Bitcoin launched a platform to tokenize private credit and other financial instruments. Private credit and other financial instruments like what? Corporate debt and agribusiness receivables, right? But you see, I'll take a screenshot if you want to read all I want to jump to the bottom, okay? So what is the aim? Expanding on-chain finance aims to tokenize up to what? 1 billion in debt and receivables, moving beyond proofs of concept into real market application with significant institutional adoption in Brazil, guys. That's why everything is going down in Brazil right now, okay? They're working with Ripple to leverage the XRPL's capabilities for structured finance and cross-border payments. So, the collaboration between Mercado Bitcoin and Ripple is one of the most significant real-world blockchain partnerships in the world today. It moves away from speculative trading and toward a complete digital overhaul of the financial system, right? The tokenization of 200 million in real world assets in July of 2025 is when Mercado Bitcoin announced it would tokenize the 200 million assets, right, on the XRP ledger. This isn't just digital money. It is moving traditional financial paper onto the blockchain, all right? But what are they tokenizing? Take a look at this, guys. The focus is on fixed income and equity income instruments. This includes things like private credit loans, okay, loans to companies, receivables, which are monies companies are owed, and dividend yielding assets, guys. Okay, why use the XRP ledger? Unlike Ethereum, right? The XRP ledger was designed specifically for finance. It handles high-speed transactions for a fraction of a cent and has a native decentralized DEX. Okay, this allows Mercado Bitcoin to issue a tokenized loan. Easy, simple, right? And have people trade it instantly, though. This is the life-changing part. Instantly, 24/7, guys. Okay. So this is where I got to thinking, right? If all of these platforms have this much value tokenized on the XRP ledger, right? In comparison to Mercado Bitcoin and Vert Capital, which have this much value, right? Tokenized on the XRP ledger. If majority of what they're tokenizing is debt, then what does that mean? Majority of the represented tokens, right, on the XRP ledger are actually debt instruments or financial instruments, from what I can tell, right? So this just had me thinking, man. I like the way that we're moving, but is the XRP ledger or this network called the XRP ecosystem much greater, much larger, much more important, much more valuable, much more vital to the new digital system than we realize? That's what I'm wondering. All right. See y'all later. Peace and love.